Hey guys, it's me, my face, and all the other parts too. Today's It's Almost Halloween Happy Dance is brought to us by coffee in the Snoopy mug. Continue to be jealous. It looks good on you. I have 7 more Halloween mugs. I only want this one. If you're new here, my name is Andrea, and this is a channel about cross-stitching and coffee and wine and anything else I come up with. If you're a returning visitor, welcome back. It has been, I think, over a month since I made a video, and I think in the last video I said something akin to, hey, wouldn't it be great if I went back to every 2-week videos and think I didn't do that. That did not happen. It did not happen. I am still very, so I'm doing these things when I can do them. I can do it today, so we're doing that. I'm very perky today. I'm running on Halloween energy, which, strangely enough, does not equate to has eaten too much candy. First of all, because there's no such thing as too much candy. I have many things to show you. And I don't think I'm going to take them in any particular order because, first of all, I have no idea what order I worked on them. And also, I usually like to do, let's do whips and then new starts and then finishes. And there is such a mishmash of who knows what in here. We're just going to take them as I pick them up. Let's just jump right in with a finish. This is Happy Haunting from Plum Street Samplers. And I believe the last time I had done all the stitching, I just needed to finish the lettering. And so I did that. And it came out super cute. I was trying to figure out the deal with these bunnies. So there's the mama, and she's dressed as a witch. And here's next one back, and they're dressed as a little witch. And then we get this friend here, who's just kind of wearing an orange top. I don't know if they're going for pumpkin. I don't know what. And then the one on the end is a little angel. And I thought, how cute if they were like 3 little witches and an angel. But they're not 3 little witches. They're 2 witches, a person in a shirt, and a little angel. I was trying to find a narrative there. I was not successful. It's entirely possible that I am overthinking the bunnies. That could happen. So that is done and ready, and if I have the emotional wherewithal, I could probably get this into a hoop finish today in time for Halloween tomorrow. Did I mention that? It is Sunday the 30th. Halloween is tomorrow. The next thing I have to show is also a finish. This is Bent Flower Farmhouse from Teresa Miller. She is my 1/1 go-to gal. There are no shortage of her patterns in the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazines. So every time one comes out, I just save hers out almost automatically. And this was one of them. And it's adorable. Although I keep looking, the color choices are, I believe, my choices. I don't know that let me check. What did you do, Andrea? I do have some swap outs. But the big swap out is the red. It was supposed to be Williamsburg from Weeks Dye Work, and I went with Classic Colorworks Campfire. And I like it. But every time I look at these flowers, they look like sliced blood oranges. Andrea, that's the back. It's been a month. So I'm not against that, but that's what happened. So I think this is a brighter red than what was originally called for, but I like it. It came out nice. You probably can only see me. It's 1/1, And you know how I feel about that. I love me some 1/1. What am I going to do with it? I have no idea. It's going to go in the journal, probably. Because even though I guess these are sunflowers, they're not, this isn't a very fall, wintry kind of pattern. So I'm just going to take it and run. It's a finish. Did I just get bit by something? Did that literally just like appear angrily on my face? Because thank you. Just thanks, universe. I didn't get you anything. The next thing I worked on is Summer's End by Notforgotten Farm. This is a freebie, so I will link it down below, or I will link their blog down below. I changed out all the colors. I just picked some things from Stash, and it's just really cute. It's a very simple pattern. It is just sort of easy to work on while watching television, things like that. It is another 1/1. Can't stop, won't stop. But it's coming along. I have actually had this like in my, I have a folder on my computer of like things to stitch. And then I have a second folder that when I do them, I throw them in that folder. And my goal is to someday maybe have, let's not say an empty folder, because I don't think that will ever happen. But I would like to work through all of these patterns that I have sort of collected through the years and don't know that I have. And now with like Pattern Keeper, everything is just so easy to just drop in and go. There's no reason not to do it. I will say what I am doing with this and what I have done with some other patterns. I am actually putting these into Pattern Keeper. Or no, I should say, I am putting these into my cross stitch program, which I think is WinStitch, and then exporting it as a PDF that Pattern Keeper likes, so that I'm not doing that, like importing the JPEG and trying to get the grids in the, I ain't doing that. For these little simple patterns, I'm just reproducing them and putting them in there, spitting out the PDF and putting it into Pattern Keeper, and then stitching like it just, you can select all the colors and the whole, it's just, I'm finding it easier. You might not, your mileage may vary. This is how I'm doing it. And I'm not like distributing that file afterwards. I'm not keeping it for anything. It's just for me to use. The next thing I worked on is actually two patterns. This is a Lizzie Kate, and I am thinking this may be my first Lizzie Kate. This is part of her Tingles series, and it's a, there's so many names. It's the Tingles, it's the Flippets, it's October 31st and Jack-o'-lantern. They're on the same card. They're two separate patterns. I got this as a generous gift. I want to say it was Lisa. I'm not sure. But it came with little teeny buttons. The only thing I haven't finished is putting the buttons on these. So this is Jack-o'-lantern. And yes, Andrea used all that fabric for that because she's not always in control. So we've got this, which just came out cute. And I don't think I know where the button goes on that one. This is the October 31st one. And the buttons go in the jack-o'-lantern eyes. These were cute. They were very quick to stitch up. I just used stuff from Stash. It was very simple to kit up. And once they're done, I think they'll be adorable. Will I have time to put buttons on today? Probably not. Will I have time to do buttons tomorrow, the next day? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. But eventually, someday, they will be finished. But since I am finished stitching them, I think we need to give away the pattern today. But we'll get to that later. The next thing I worked on is another finish. This is Moonwatch by Gloria Bowlin. And I finally finished all of the back stitching. So this is done. Did I end up following the pattern for the back stitching? No, I did not. I did followed the pattern like on one side, and on the other side I was like, there's no reason for me to do that. It will make they're sticks. They're fine. Make them look any way you want, so long as they look like they are somewhat reasonably the way the designer wanted them to be. Good. They're fine. It's done. I'm putting it in the book. I don't even know if I'm looking for the other pattern anymore. I will put up the information that this was in a magazine, and on the page there's another tree with pears, which doesn't make any sense. But the next issue of the magazine, or the prior issue, had the star, or maybe the sun. Now I don't remember. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's just put this in the finished column. Call it a day. Can you hear my neighbors outside? They have the audacity to be having a good time out there without me while I'm trying to do a video. The audacity. I wouldn't mind, but they will have kids over all day long today. And tomorrow night for Halloween, there'll be no kids coming over from there. They won't be there. They'll be somewhere else doing something fun. Not coming to my house and getting full-size candy bars. I'm not bitter. It's fine. Full-size candy bars. Just saying. The next thing I worked on is from the Primitive Needle. This is Halloween. And I have made a lot of progress. Yeah, that bottom row of like flowery thingies, that's no joke. That takes longer than you would think. And also because like I could be working up here on like a really interesting jack-o'-lantern, but I'm not, because I keep saying, I want to fill in around it. I don't want to count down. I don't want to count over. I don't know. But this has been super easy to work on because I took the paper pattern and I replicated it in WinStitch. And I exported it and I put it into Pattern Keeper, and I am so happy that I can just stitch away on this from Pattern Keeper and not have to fool around with, let's face it, not the easiest to read patterns from Primitive Needle. This was a simple one. I mean, it's only 3 colors, so it was very easy to just replicate in there. If it was obviously a more complicated pattern, I may or may not have done that, but for this one, it was very easy. If, like myself, you are a Primitive Needle devotee, by devotee, I mean you sit here just kind of wishing that you could have the patterns that are all over eBay and who knows how real they are. And yeah, if you would like a legit freebie from Primitive Needle, head over to 1884 Stitchery. That is McKenna, and she has, it's either Moon Witch or Witch Moon. I'm not sure. I will with the thing. And she has it for free. And it's legit because it's McKenna. She's not fooling around with this. So here's hoping maybe that's a sign of things to come. I'm hoping for you, McKenna. The last thing that I worked on is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. This is from Carriage House Samplings. I tell you, these blocks, it's like you feel like you're moving along, and then you step back and you're like, oh my God, I'm not even done with the second little coffin guy. But I do have a good chunk of him done. So I finished filling in the mummy. I haven't done the backstitch on it. I don't think I'm going to do much, if any, backstitch until the end. But I've got him mostly done. There's a third one down here, and then I just need to finish off the block. And then I can move over. I am on the bottom row. There is an end in sight for this, which is good, because these big projects, I have not been wanting to go near them. Ask me the last time I worked on Death by Cross Stitch. I don't want to think about it. Now I'm thinking about it. Hold, please. Let's see. This is what happens when you give me a tablet. Just, you know. What was the last update? January. That was a long time ago. I'm not going to think about that anymore. I have several more Hawk Run Hollow patterns. I have so many patterns. You guys, I just need to stop. I just need to stop, because so many of these patterns that I have came from generosity of people who wanted to see their stash go to a good home. I want to be a good home for their stash, but these are big patterns. These are also big and they're daunting, and I just need to get through what I have and then start spreading the joy to the rest of you. Oh God. So I need to get this done so that I can pass that pattern on and start the next round of Hawk Run Hollow. I think I have summer. Do I have farm? I have 2 others, but I don't know what they are. They're over there. Maybe for my next video, or maybe what I will do is I will record a little, like, let's just roam through my stash, and then some week where I am just like, cannot video. I could put that up, and we could all enjoy just looking at the shame of what it is I have in there. I have so many patterns, and they're beautiful, and I want to stitch them. I need to do it. I do find myself running into, like, I could say right now, I would like to start another Hawk Run Hollow thing. I'm ignoring this. I'm just ignoring it. But I don't have a piece of fabric that I can start it on. And I don't need like a fancy piece of fabric. I need like, 40 count mallow. That's like the only fabric I really need in my life is 40 count mallow. But I don't have a piece big enough. So I would have to order a piece, which is fine. Mama has a job. Mama can order fabric if she needs to, but I have a closet full of fabric. You may remember that I was just very generously handed a ton of fabric. I need to use that first. But those pieces are not big enough for like the Hawk Run Hollows. So I am in this vapor lock of I want to order things, but cannot, or should not, emotionally unable to order them. And therefore nothing gets done because reasons. So what I'm saying is what I really need to do is pull my ish together and get it done. We all just calm down. Talk to Snoopy for a minute. Speaking of Snoopy, did anybody actually get to see the Great Pumpkin this year? Because I heard that PBS did not show it. And that it's only available on Apple Plus. I don't have Apple Plus. I have Hulu. I have Netflix. I have Discovery Plus. I have Shudder. I have Nessun Plus. I wasn't ever going to see it on Nessun Plus. I have Amazon Prime. I don't have Apple. This really should be easier. This really should be easier. All right, so that is all the stitching that I did. That I can show you. She said coyly. I actually got a little burst of kind of creative energy the other day. And so I pulled out a pattern that I had been working on probably for like 2 years now for the Etsy store. It's one that I have a very specific vision of how I want this to look. And it really did. I finished the model. That was part of my problem, was I hadn't finished the model. This is something that uses was using many subtle different greens. And they were important greens. And they look great in the design program, but when you put them next to each other on fabric, they all look like the same green. Because let's face it, DMC has a few too many greens. So I kept thinking I needed to expand the number that I was using, and really what it kind of was I needed to step back and use fewer that had more contrast so that you could see differences and things like that. And once I kind of got over but I want these subtle little, it came together better. The second problem that I ran into is that there is back stitching in this pattern. And I did it on what I think is 20 count Aida. Because of course I did. So if it had been a higher count Aida, if it had been like a 16, doing the back stitching wouldn't have been a problem, because you can split Aida, you can do mid stitches and things like that, but they would have been longer stitches and would have looked nicer. And I have it here. I want to see if there's a way I can show without showing. I can't tell you. Nobody's going to steal my idea, because it's not like an earth-shattering idea. But I kind of want it to be a little surprise. But this is a spider. Let's see if I can get you to see it. So he's cute, but that was really fiddly to do. And so I kind of want to restitch this before I release it. I feel like I want there to be a stitched version of a digital pattern that I put up on Etsy. Because, there are tons of patterns out there that don't have a stitched version shown. And you can look at the pattern, and some of them are just sort of simple enough that you could say, yeah, that's going to look fine. But this is not one of them. I don't think this is one of them. So I think I need to be able to show proof of concept that this will look good once you've finished it. So now I need to restitch this on a different fabric, which means I have to order that fabric, which means I keep saying to myself, how can you order this fabric? Why don't you just order that fabric with it? Hi, have we met? This stuff in my head. And the other thing I've been working on for the Etsy store and I kind of am now on a deadline. I am doing a temperature pattern for 2023. And what I'm using is elements from another pattern that I have designed. So it's a matter of like pulling that in and getting it situated, and then figuring out, because, you know, not every month has the same number of days, because of course it doesn't. So there needs to, you know, little gaps, and what do you put in the gaps? And now I was like, well, I'll just put these things in here. And I'm like, no, they need to be seasonally appropriate. So I've gone far afield. So I'll have to get back to that. But maybe look for that coming in December for 2023. And then maybe I will retrofit it for 2022. And maybe I will stitch that up, because obviously that's not something, you can't stitch a temperature chart ahead of time. If you can, call me. We can meet in Vegas. I do have a little bit of haul to share. My sister and I took a trip down to Stitch New England and shopped around, and actually she finally picked up a giveaway that she won months ago. So, you know, any excuse to go down there. But I mean, I couldn't go all the way down there and not buy a pattern, because why would you do that? Look what I did. Can you see it? Look what I did. Yeah. What fabric am I going to put that on? I don't know. I don't think there's any backstitch or strangeness in here, so I can definitely do it on 40 count. So there might actually be a piece in there, the right kind of grayish color. I'll have to check. Did I kit it up while I was there? No, because I was just in a buying kind of thing. I didn't look at what it required or anything like that. But I have it. I own it. This is why I have problems. You know, to tell you where my head was at, I also bought 2 charcoal from Weeks Dye Works. Just 2, because the last thing I worked on, I knew that I was down to like 3 strands of charcoal. And that's what was in my head. So I was like, oh, they have charcoal. I'm getting that. This is how I function on a day-to-day basis. I also placed an order with Fat Quarter Shop because, unfortunately, I waited so long to go to Stitch New England that they actually ran out of the thread that I was going there to get. Because this happens to me. I finally got the cocoa. I can work on Heaven and Nature Sing again. Do the dye lots match? I don't even know. I haven't looked yet. Is it going to stop me? No, it's not. One way or another, we will all get through it. The reason I was over at Fat Quarter Shop is because I, like a fool, was watching... Was I watching Priscilla and Chelsea first, or was I watching Kimberly's live stream first? I don't know. It's anyone's guess. But they make round sticky board cutouts. This I think I need. I cannot cut out a circle to save my life. And if the circle is weird, everything's going to get weird. Nothing's going to look good. So they come in circles. So now I'm going to try to finish a circle thing. Maybe the cat in the moon. Maybe something else that I was going to put in a hoop. You know, I like the look of these round finishes. I like the look of drums. But those tops and things are kind of, you know, scary. They're scary. So I thought I would give that a shot. And so while I was at it, I also got 5x7. You know, for the finishing that I never do. Andrea, how long has it been since you recorded a video? It's been so long that I have gotten 2 rounds of nest egg and Floss Frenzy deliveries. So shall we just roam through these? Yes, let's. Look at this. This is 2 nest egg deliveries. And I actually had to go through them. I actually watched my last video, which I never think to do, just to see if I had mentioned any of these, and it does not appear that I did. So yeah, it's been that long. So what I have managed to acquire since we last met is currant. These are gassed. Currant. We've got slate, sarsaparilla, roasted marshmallow, which I really like. I like roasted marshmallow. I think I just like marshmallows. Picnic basket. If you don't say picnic basket, I don't know who you are. I don't know what to do with you. Spring grass. Shuttergreen. Sage. This does not say sage to me. And yet if I encountered like a chunk plant of sage in the wild, it probably looks just like this. But this is not the sage that I think of. Raven. That's a color that I know has been called for multiple times and I did not have. So now I have Raven. Sugar plum. Ruby slipper, which is not as red as what you're seeing there. It's much more of a kind of a wine color. It's a little more samplery, I think, in my book. Cranberry, same thing, not quite that bright. Cedar mill brown, that's very specific. Vintage lace. Peacock. Royal purple. I gotta find a way to use that in something. Red plum. Putty. Something blue. And presidential blue, which is not quite that. I was about to say that the presidential blue was not quite that bright, but that's just a joke waiting to happen. Have at it. I give you that one for free. The other thing that I got was my Floss Frenzy. This is Weeks Dye Works from Fat Quarter Shop. And this is, I have trouble with this word. It's cinnamon. Cinnamon. Pecan. Pecan. Whatever. This is Tiger's Eye. Bright leaf. I feel like I have either encountered a need for bright leaf recently, or I've discussed bright leaf recently. I don't know. Chickpea and hazelnut. So I think that's 2 months in a row that the Floss Frenzy was neutrals. I think the first set were a lot lighter and this was a lot darker. You cannot have too many neutrals. That's a fact, not an opinion, and I stand by it. And this is why I say to myself, I need to kit up all of these digital patterns that I have, all these little freebies, all these little smalls and things out of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, because that's where all of these are going to get used up. I have got to move through these because I am just drowning in threads and fabric. Mostly threads. I have a ton of fabric. I don't always have the exact fabric that I'm looking for. Andrea, why don't you just stop the thread of the month clubs? And to that, I say foo on you. So that is all the haul. So now that I have brought some things in, let's send some things out, shall we? I have not done a giveaway in forever. So I'm going to give away 3 things. We're not going to do it the Google form way. I don't have the spoons. I don't even have like a spork to put together a form right now. So we're going to do it the old-fashioned way with the keywords in the comments. Don't tell YouTube because they don't like that. But we're going to do it. The first thing I'm going to give away was part of the unbelievably generous gift from, I believe, she consults her little Lisa. Lisa sent this to me. And it's adorable, and I just know I'm not going to get around to stitching it. I just have to edit. I do. This is A Dragon's Tea Party by Dragon Dreams. And I'm going to tell you right now, this little guy making away with the cookie, he is everything. He is my world. This is charted in DMC. It does mention using DMC rayon, which was, I believe, not the light effects, but like the satiny ones. I seem to remember hating them in all the ways, so you may just want to be aware of that. I do not think I have looked at the pattern, so I just want to make sure that it is not written on, or even if it's written on, we're giving it away, but you should know that. You should know. Oh no, this looks good. This looks very normal. There are a fair number of colors, but they're all DMC. And yeah, so pretty easy to read too. Pretty big, not written on, very easy. If you would like to stitch this guy, get back in the packaging. Oh, Andrea. Please use the word dragon in your comment. The next thing I'm going to give away is a Prairie Schooler. Yeah, you heard me. It's Misfortune. And it's one of the originals. It's not a reprint. That is not Plum Street, Prairie Schooler, Misfortune. It is 1, 2, 3 DMCs. You know, Prairie Schoolers, you know how they are. Please use the word fortune in your comment. And lastly, as we already mentioned, we're going to do the Lizzie Kate. This is Tingle's A Flip It Chart F143, October 31st, Jack-O-Lantern. It's a lot happening here. But they are super cute. And it is part of a bigger whole. So if you're looking to do the whole thing, there's a whole thing. They are charted in weeks, but there is no rule that says you have to do them in weeks. Did I do them in weeks? I might have. I don't know. What I will not have is the buttons. So wherever those happen to go, I know they're the eyes of the jack-o'-lantern, or they're the eyes of the jack-o'-lantern, and they just go near the stem on the little pumpkin here. You can just fill that in with a stitch. No one will know. I'll know, but I won't tell anyone. So if you would like this, use the word tingle tingle. I think we all just like to say tingle. So, because I am haphazard in creating my videos, I am going to choose the winner on November 12th. I will use the random comment picker to do that. I will respond to the comment that wins, and we'll work out getting in touch with, getting your mailing address if I don't already have it, and I will get them out then. Maybe there will be a video attached to it. Maybe there will not. I don't know. But the 12th is when I'm going to pick the winners. A few rules. Be over 18. Be a subscriber. I'm not going to check. Like the video. I'm not going to check. And you can only win one of them. So absolutely put all 3 words in your comment. That's absolutely fine. But if I pull the tingles first and you win that one, you're out of the running for the other 2. That's just how life goes. So yeah, let's give some stuff away. Let's get Andrea back into the swing of things. Let's get her going to the post office. Yes, you can be anywhere in the world and I will send them. I do know that certain countries are having postal strikes and slowdowns, and I don't have control over that. So if it goes into the mail and never comes back out, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry. Other than that, guys, that is it. I have been still trying to take care of my father's house. There's not a lot we can do right now. We're still waiting for the state to do things that they need to do. I have done fairly well staying on Weight Watchers. I plan to continue. I know the plan is changing in November. I don't know how I feel about it yet. They're taking away my free potatoes, and I don't feel like that's fair. But we'll see how that goes. At the very least, for the next couple of days, it's Halloween week, and that means that there are no points, and I will eat candy, and I will eat pumpkin seeds until they come out of my ears. You just watch me. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your likes and even your dislikes. But thank you most of all for your comments. I read every single one of them, and while I can't always respond, I appreciate them all. Thank you for being my community. Bye, guys.